Just was in shock.
I am actually pretty scared because this neighborhood seems to be pretty safe.
That's a common sentiment held by people all over the United States, that their neighborhood seemed to be pretty safe. Well, here's the problem, man. And those of you that's frequent viewers of the channel, you know this. They're everywhere. They're not just confined to the projects or the inner cities anymore. They've spread out. They're everywhere. And it is kind of ironic and karmic, because a lot of the people that were doing the protesting, they were basing all their animus towards police and towards the system on their experience with their college roommate. My college roommate was a stud, man. And God, if that could be him, my God. Could just imagine him being pinned down on the street. Or the cool, guy from work, that brother at work that always be borrowing money from them until payday. And then payday come and he like, I got a bill. And they're like, it's all right, Tyrone. Go ahead and keep it, squash it. No biggie, Tyrone. You want to borrow some more money? Like, of course, yes, no. That's not who the police are chasing around. Who the police are arresting, who's committing all this crime that's causing police to over-police certain neighborhoods where certain people live or over-policed. It's not that guy, okay?
Just was in shock.
I am actually pretty scared because this neighborhood seems to be pretty safe.
Developing tonight at 11 o'clock, terrifying moments for a family in Renton after men held them at gunpoint in front of their young children.
They watched as robbers ransacked their home in the middle of the night. This is where it all unfolded on Sunday in a cul-de-sac along Southeast 184th Place. Tonight, those men still haven't been arrested. KOMO's Tammy Mutasa live tonight in Renton. Tammy, you talked to that family. How are they holding up tonight?
Yeah, Preston, I did. And as you can imagine, they're still very shaken up. And the worst part is this happened right in front of their little children. And those suspects just didn't even care. Now, tonight, they did not feel...
Who do you think did this, man? You guys, are you guys using your context clues, man? They didn't even care, man. Oh, no kids, nothing.
Yeah, Preston, I did. And as you can imagine, they're still very shaken up. And the worst part is this happened right in front of their little children. And those suspects just didn't even care. Now, tonight, they did not feel comfortable talking to us on camera, but they do want those guys off the streets.
I just was in shock.
This neighbor's surveillance video shows the moment police arrived after a family endured 20 minutes of terror, being robbed at gunpoint in front of their little kids.
It's totally like surreal, like a nightmare to me.
Renton police say on Sunday around 1:30 a.m., the family had arrived from their in-laws' house and pulled into their garage. As they took out their 3-year-old and 6-year-old kids from the car, police say 3 men with guns drawn ambushed the family and forced them into their home.
I am actually pretty scared because this neighborhood seems to be pretty safe.
Detectives say the robbers demanded the family to stay in the living room with their heads down while they ransacked the house. The family told me the suspects stole money, jewelry, designer bags, and even the kids' piggy banks.
They took the little kids' piggy banks, man. I hope that be the clue that catch them. I hope that, like, they find their car or something, and it be a piggy bank be in it and match the piggy, and that be the clue, the one clue. Detectives be standing at the podium. The clue that actually led us to the arrest of these suspects was the piggy bank. I hope, man, I pray to God, man.
Detectives say the robbers demanded the family to stay in the living room with their heads down while they ransacked the house. The family told me the suspects stole money, jewelry, designer bags, and even the kids' piggy banks. News of the home invasion shook the quiet cul-de-sac.
This community felt very safe, but as someone told me, it takes one bad person to come in, and all of a sudden it's not safe anymore.
Investigators say the robbers took off on foot, and it's likely they had a getaway car nearby. While violent crime continues to climb in King County, the neighborhood is staying vigilant.
We've been here for quite a few years, and we know the people in this area, and the fact that knowing that people, have gun coming into the house next door is.
Yeah, surreal to say the least, you guys. Right where we're standing is where that car was stopped by Seattle police. Behind me is the Starbucks Reserve at the corner of Pike and Minor. And police say that it all happened earlier this afternoon after a 25-year-old called for a Lyft driver to pick him up at the intersection of 4th and Pike. At that point, when the driver was helping him put the passengers' bags into the car, a man ran into the driver's seat and tried to take off with the Lyft driver's car. The Lyft driver, in response, hopped into the car and actually had his legs dangling out the passenger side door, trying to stop that person stealing his car. We spoke with the passenger who was left at 4th and Pike when all this went down and said it felt like it was straight out of a movie.
It's crazy. I've never experienced anything like this. I don't think it's necessarily representative of our city, but it's crazy.
Okay, so we already know who did that one. Whenever the glider tries, especially in Seattle, whenever the pasty lib tries to, minimize it and tries to act like, this guy's going to have nightmares for weeks. He's going to be afraid to leave the house. But he's trying to tell the cameraman, the newsman, it's not representative of our city. It is representative of your city. This is extremely representative of your city, man. And you know that. And you saw the guy who did it. And I can look in your eyes. We can look in your eyes and tell who did that to you, man. You shook up. You ain't know somebody would come and just jump in the car while somebody was helping you with their bags and drag and drive it down the street and crash. And how about to run off like that? Just a whirlwind of pain and suffering. Like they like little balls of just like Tasmanian devils, just and they gone. We see it in your eyes, man. We see it in your eyes, pasty lip.
It's crazy. I've never experienced anything like this. I don't think it's necessarily representative of our city, but it's crazy.
And he was coming back from a ski trip, actually, from Salt Lake City when this all happened. Now, here's more video from where the car ended up. Luckily, no one was hurt in this whole situation, but the person who tried to take the car did end up getting arrested. Now, back out here live, we tried speaking with the Lyft driver after this whole ordeal finished up, and when police started to leave, he was saying that he didn't feel comfortable talking with us after this because he was pretty shaken up, understandably, from this whole ordeal. But
that's right, Mary. The crime is becoming a constant problem at this specific intersection. In fact, people that were passing by that we spoke with, some even live near there or work there. They also tell us it's gotten so bad, they're not even surprised.
So how do we square that with this is not representative of our city? Guy. Because this is not representative of our city guy told us a different narrative, man. I guess he was in the moment, man, and he had to go extra woke because it had just happened. And he didn't want to see, he wanted to see like he down with the cause, man. These people, man, they just like, man, look, they probably just aren't recent victims. Because when you're a recent victim, like, he probably... This isn't representative of our city. Guy was probably just like waiting for his stuff, and he probably saw the brother. He probably saw the brother that jumped in the driver's seat while the driver was helping him put his bags in the trunk. He probably saw the brother while he was waiting for the Uber. Didn't pay him no mind. I thought, they're not so bad. God, Trump supporters. How could they be so? He's just chilling. Look at him. You know how they treat you like zoo animals or pets or, children. Look at him. Look at the little guy standing there with his hood on and his mask. I've got a mask too. There's nothing I should fear. Who am I to judge him for his mask? I've got one too. And his hood, look, I was in Utah skiing. I wore a hoodie when I was in Utah. Why am I feeling like I'm afraid? This sud man standing here, just milling around the street, lurking while I'm sitting here waiting for my lift. Check your privilege, Chad. Chad, check your privilege. Chad, check your privilege. Chad, check your privilege. So he's still in denial. He's trying to coach himself out of it. That's why this is not representative of our city.
In fact, people that were passing by that we spoke with, some even live near there or work there. They also tell us it's gotten so bad they're not even surprised. Not even a week later, another deadly shooting at this stretch of 3rd Avenue between Pine and Pike, a block that has seen a jump in violent crime. While the investigation is still in its early stages, SPD says the victim is a male in either their late teens or early 20s and was shot in the abdomen. No word yet on what led to the shooting, and investigators are still looking for a suspect.
The victim may be a teen, and there's no suspect in custody. Have you ever seen a shooting up in public where not something in the house, up in public where Gladys shot somebody and his behind, his face is not all over the news? Because Gladys get caught quick, man. They catch Gladys every time. Every single time. Now, I know we don't have a lot of cases, because they don't, that's not how they roll, and but of the ones, that glider is, ain't no just some glider that shot up some stuff downtown or some city, and he just, it was just weeks later, well, hey, they didn't catch him. No, they caught him that night. Gliders get caught that night. And if you have one where it was a public shooting by a glider and he just out there, he gone. He in custody. He not in custody. He not dead. He just out there chilling, and they just can't find him. Please send me that one. I really need you to send me that one, because I look for stuff like that.
Yet on what led to the shooting, and investigators are still looking for a suspect. SPD says the department is working to put a stop to the surge in violence here.
We've already increased our patrols and our officer presence in this area. And of course, the uptick in violent crime and gun violence is a major concern for the department. Chief Diaz will actually be addressing our plan for targeting violent crime hotspots later this week.
We spoke to people who live and work in the area. They tell us, with this being the second deadly shooting here in less than a week, they're starting to worry even more about their own safety.
Definitely. I mean, it kind of makes me worry just knowing that this has occurred, just several blocks away from where I live, for my safety and the safety of, the colleagues, of the people I work with.
Right now, police in Seattle are working to keep 2 crime hotspots clear after a violent week. Tonight is the first night of emphasis patrols along 3rd Avenue, where open drug use and violence have become commonplace. This as businesses in another hotspot, 12th and Jackson, worry crime that's plagued the neighborhood will come back quick. We have team coverage on the latest.
Look at what they've created. God. Look at what they've done. We've all had that happen in our lives where we've just made a decision, a strong-headed decision. We were adamant, and it ruined us. We may have overcome it in life, or we may have just had to deal with it and just carry on and, make the best of what was left after our lives was in ruin. And we can all relate to this, man. I think everyone, hit one if you can relate to that. You've just done something so foolish or foolhardy or just short-sighted, and it's caused you so much pain and heartache, and the reverberations of it, took years to overcome, maybe even decades to overcome. And it shaped your life. That mistake shaped who you are. We've all been there, man. But I still don't feel sorry for these people.
Spot 12th and Jackson. Worry crime that's plagued the neighborhood will come back quick. We have team coverage on the latest efforts to cut crime and drug use in 2 of Seattle. Right now, police in Seattle are working to keep 2 crime hotspots clear after a violent week. Tonight is the first night of emphasis patrols along 3rd Avenue, where open drug use and violence have become commonplace. This as businesses in another hotspot, 12th and Jackson. Worry crime that's plagued the neighborhood will come back quick. We have team coverage on the latest efforts to cut crime and drug use in 2 of Seattle's most violent areas. Campos Mohider spent the evening along 12th and Jackson. We want to start with Joel Marino, who's live in downtown Seattle. Joel?
Yeah, Mary, we are still smelling a lot of drugs in the air. And tonight we've seen people with just bags full of merchandise, and they're selling them right on the sidewalks. A moment ago, a man clearly in mental crisis running through the lanes of traffic. But police, they are also out here too. And while some say it could help, well, others ask how long it'll last. 3rd Avenue has a new look.
3rd Avenue has a new look. That looks like, God, what y'all done with y'all city, man. Jesus Christ.
Officers are on bikes and in cars and keeping watch following several nights of deadly violence on these street corners.
Because, these young people, they don't fight no more. They're quick to pull a gun on you and shoot you.
Last night, a man died on 3rd Avenue after being shot in the abdomen. This surveillance footage from Sunday.
God. What were they thinking? What were they thinking? And could you imagine how bold this... We always talk about the emboldenment and entitlement from the summer of Floyd and Blackistani spring. But I was in D.C. at the time, and they're done. That city's through. It's over. Forget about it. But they didn't even get 1/10 of the protest. They tried to get an autonomous zone in D.C. It lasted a day or two. This place right here, Seattle, they had their Blackistani spring was on steroids. Imagine how much more bolder and entitled to crime their Southern men are.
This surveillance footage from Sunday shows people running away after a man was gunned down in the same area. And on February 21st, a man was shot in the face. These pictures from the scene show the response.
The streets are being taken over by people that need to be out of here.
There's always been shootings in downtown Seattle.
But city leaders are looking at these latest crimes differently. Police parked their mobile precinct unit on the block and are ramping up the number of officers patrolling the area. Still, the problems are far from gone.
Every corner you walk down, there's needles and you can smell heroin.
In addition to the drugs, there's also the sidewalk markets where shoplifted goods often end up. Some of it went on within sight of the police.
Other cities are more stricter in their downtown corridor areas. So I believe we could be a lot more stricter. It will clean up a lot of stuff.
As for the stepped-up police presence at night, many welcome the high visibility, but question how long it'll last.
When we need them.
Happening today, the governor is expected to sign 2 bills into law that are aimed at clarifying new rules created by police reform laws in the state. Como's Theron Zahn joins us now live in Seattle with a breakdown of some of those changes. Theron?
Yeah, last year, lawmakers in our state passed new rules regarding how police officers are allowed to operate, but many police department leaders say it caused confusion and actually reduced public safety. 2 bills expected to be signed by the governor today should clarify changes made to policing rules after police reform laws were passed last year. Many police departments across the state have said the reforms created confusion about what they were allowed to do while making arrests. One bill signed today will say that a ban on military equipment used by police departments would not include beanbag shotguns and other less lethal weapons. Some departments had stopped using the beanbag guns while waiting for the new rules to be made clearer. Another bill says police are allowed to use physical force when making an arrest and providing transportation for mental health treatment.
So just 1 year later, a year later, they're like, yeah, you can shoot it with beanbags. You know, yeah, go ahead, shoot, tee off on them with the beanbags, man. And yeah, you can use force during arrest too. That old don't use force thing, yeah. Did I say don't use force? Really? Man, go ahead and use force, man. I said that. I don't remember that. All right. Yeah, I'll take your word for it. But yeah, man, go ahead and use force, man. Use all the force you want. And you gotta shoot him with a beanbag, shoot him with a beanbag, man.
One bill signed today will say that a ban on military equipment used by police departments would not include beanbag shotguns and other less lethal weapons. Some departments had stopped using the beanbag guns while waiting for the new rules to be made clearer. Another bill says police are allowed to use physical force when making an arrest and providing transportation for mental health treatment. Confusion over a ban on types of use of force left some departments saying they could not help bring people in crisis to the treatment they need, even when they posed a danger to their family members. And this should be a busy day for lawmakers in Olympia. This is the last day for bills to be considered, and this current session ends on the 10th. Yeah, the mayor is expected to give us new details today about what he plans to do to make the streets of Seattle safer. This after a major effort to change what's been going on 3rd Avenue. Now, this morning at 10:30, Mayor Harrell will hold a news conference with local and federal law enforcement, including the DEA, city's attorney's office, and SPD. Now, SPD officers are already making their presence known downtown after someone was shot and killed on 3rd Avenue. In fact, that area has seen several shootings in just about over a week. Business owners hope the change lasts.
Definitely, because what we have seen in the past, this operations cleanup goes 1 or 2 days and then everything goes back to same business.
Also at noon today, the Seattle Police Officers Guild and the union representing officers in King County will be announcing a new leadership change. Now, they say this is a very big deal. They say it will affect law enforcement across the region. So today we should get a better idea of the plan going forward to make living in Seattle safer and exactly what's going to be happening according to public safety across the entire county. So this will be a big day with a lot of news expected just after 10:30 this morning.
And